All right, we're back. I got Mark. Back, we're back. First of all, I want to thank Jeff Santiago. He's fantastic. He's great. He's talented. He's funny. You didn't see that much of that because he was performing, but he's just a cool dude, and I'm really glad he was able to be on the show and do his thing from North Carolina. North
Technology
Carolina.
is so amazing.
Okay, I gotta scoot back so I can be seen next to Mark here. Although Mark's the key guy. We're gonna continue our conversation with Mark Stolaroff. We were talking about no budget filmmaking, and I think we left it off. You just delineated. So I'll record this too. I think we left it off. You just delineated the key concepts for the approach to doing no budget filmmaking.
Yeah.
So if you want to just go through them really fast again, just the highlights.
Yeah, the bullet points, again, these sound pretty simple, and I don't just say them in the class and move on. I spend a lot of time talking about them, which, they turn into bigger and more complex concepts. But refuse to spend money, embrace your limitations, work within the framework of available resources. There's a lot.
Those are the three main.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I thought about it some more, there's some other ones that I pull out of there. But those are three really huge ones, and they're much more, they're deeper than than I'm kind of giving them credit.
Okay. I'm curious, what got you into that? Like, because the type of work you do is all over. I mean, two questions. One, I'm curious about the work you choose to produce and why you choose to do it, and how, if it is at all different from the no budget concept. But also, what about the no budget concept drew you to it? What made you want to?
Well, I did start out wanting to make films as a director, so and that's how I made them in school when I was in college. I mean, you had to, I guess. You weren't raising money. I mean, I guess some people raise money, but I guess it's kind of like a deep-seated kind of DIY kind of sensibility that I've always had, and I think a lot of no-budget filmmakers are like that. They like to do a lot of different things on a project. I've run into problems doing too many things on my projects. Was probably a big mistake I made on my last film. That I talk about in the presentation I do on that film, Pig. But so I think most people come at this with this idea that they like to do the different things on a movie. They don't want to just do one job. So, but I came out here to be a director. I had followed the lead of El Mariachi and Slacker and Clerks. I came from Houston, where two of those films were shot in Texas. And I thought, oh my God, I can do this. I had $30,000, saved up. I can make my version of Clerks. And I had a theater at that time that I had been running for 4 years that was very much DIY. I didn't know anything about theater. I hooked up with an old buddy of mine that I grew up with. We used to do skits together, and he'd made plays in college, and we created this theater, and we did it all ourselves. I mean, I was producing the plays, sometimes acting in them. Not that good of an actor. Doing the sound design myself, doing all the marketing, doing all the business stuff. I didn't have an assistant or somebody. So that was just kind of where I came from. And I was really more of a film guy than a theater guy. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to make my films. And then, you get out here and things lead to one thing leads to the other. And I ended up, doing a lot of production work at Corman initially, and then on low budget films. And then I joined Peter Broderick at Next Wave Films when Next Wave Films started, which was this new company that was giving finishing funds to exceptional low-budget films. And I read the press release on that when I was at South by Southwest, and I thought, oh my God, I need to work for this guy. I don't even know who he was, but that, all the people that the kind of people they wanted to get involved with were the kind of filmmakers that I've been following and wanted to make those kinds of films myself. And I realized I didn't have to make those films to be. That wasn't, the only thing that I was interested in. Although I guess I still am interested in that part of it. So that's really where it came from. And working at Next Wave gave me a foot into that industry in a big way with the filmmakers we worked with, like Joe Carnahan and Chris Nolan and Amir Bar-Lev and all the great filmmakers we worked with. I met many, many filmmakers that we didn't work with so directly, like David Gordon Green and Craig Brewer and Mark Forster and Justin Lin and a whole host of people that have become big studio people. And then I talked to hundreds and hundreds of filmmakers. I mean, did we meet? I don't know. Maybe we met through Next Wave as well. I don't think we knew each other before Next Wave.
No, we knew each other before Next Wave. Yeah.
Did we? It would have been right around that time, though, '97.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I don't think we met specifically through Next Wave, but you were working at Next Wave. I was working at Next Wave,
right.
Yeah.
So I met all kinds of filmmakers in that period, and learned a lot about mistakes that were being made and all this kind of stuff. Just talking to them. And then when Next Wave closed in 2002. I was like, well, this is the only thing I know. And I had decided to do this years before because I didn't want to chase money. And I liked the concept of working with the resources you had. And I didn't have any specific ideas for kind of a film that I wanted to make, as a producer or director anyway. It was like, I kind of feel like if you're talented, and I'm not saying I am, but like, let's say Chris Nolan, if you're talented, make something, and show off that you're talented. Chris Nolan never had any illusions of wanting to make little movies his career. He always knew he wanted to make big widescreen movies. He just knew that no one was going to give him the money to do that until he could prove what he could do. And so he went out and made a film with the very tiny little bit of money he had to show what he could do. And then that was enough to kind of jumpstart a whole career. So I kind of maybe felt that way. But at not being a director, the choice of material has been really kind of limited in the sense that, I could be going out and finding stuff, but I've never taken a project on from what I teach in my class, the very specific thing I teach in my class of saying, I'm going to look at all these resources, I'm going to make a film for that, because I'm not the director. I'm working with a director who absolutely worked that way when we met, and I became a producer on this first project. This is Henry Burial, and the first project he did was called Somebody, which was in Sundance in 2001, and became a Next Wave project. That project, that maybe cost $3,000 before we got involved, and they had finished the cut and everything before we got involved. But they never had $3,000 even. They shot that over a couple-year period, and maybe over 2 years they spent $3,000. So that was absolutely made all around the resources he had available to him. And then after that, we've continued to work together. I've produced 4 films with Henry, and none of those were built. They were kind of retrofitted for no-budget filmmaking. And the second film we did, True Love, which you've seen, you saw a long time ago, was $1 million or $2 million budgeted film that my producing partner at the time came on board when he couldn't get that financing, and we just said, let's make it for $50,000, and let's retrofit it for the things that we have available to us, which is something I do talk about in a big way in my class, because actually True Love is a case study in my class. So we talk about how you can kind of take a script that you have decided you want to make, and how we can kind of make it for less money. That's kind of mostly the second day stuff. But and then Pig, the next film Henry and I did together, which was a very collaborative process. It was really great. Really got my hands dirty even as a producer on that film. Was certainly not written around our resources and letting our resources inspire the story. We had to kind of retrofit that one. But Henry's an experienced director, and he had some ideas he wanted to make, and we felt like we could make it for not a lot of money. And we had money. Essentially, we had money. We'd saved up. I'd been saving up money, so it wasn't the same mandate exactly as this idea that I teach in my class. I think if you want to make a film for $10,000, which is very possible, that's a lot of money. It's very possible to do that. It's really difficult to retrofit a different film. You really have to start with your resources and work that way. And all the great no-budget films have really come from that kind of a process back in the day and still today now.
Here's
so
what I got.
Yeah, here's what I got. I'm going to make a movie around what I got. That's really the way you have to do it. And again, there's a whole lot of there's going deeper and drilling down in that concept to make it more interesting. But so yeah, I haven't really done that so much myself. It's kind of I think it's a kind of a brilliant. And again, I didn't make this idea up. I think it's kind of a brilliant. Because usually you have no restrictions, and it's really hard to work with no restrictions. So you kind of give yourself this one restriction, and it's kind of a brilliant way to work and force yourself to be creative. But our next film, Henry, we're stepping up. We're now moving into the world of raising money, which I'll learn, and I'll either teach that class as well, or I'll go, even more, you need to work for the resources you have, because this is a horrible way to work. I was not looking forward to working with having to put together business plans and cast based on foreign sales estimates and all this kinds of stuff. But I'm kind of getting excited about it now, and I really love the project we're doing. It's
well, that's a big part of it.
Yeah, it's a horror thriller. It's a very smart horror thriller. I say that it has the kills and the thrills to pay the bills, but it's much more than that. But it's not. But the stuff that makes it much more isn't getting in the way of the kills.
Sure.
So hopefully it's not going to water down. The thing I can say about my last 2 projects with Henry, Pig, which just finally came out on video a couple of weeks ago. I brought the DVD to give to you if you and you can
Put
see.
It close there.
But not that there's really good. Anyway.
Just tilt it forward.
But the next project we did together, Henry and I, where I became a producer kind of later in the game, was a film called The House That Jack Built, which premiered last year at the LA Film Festival, which we're playing festivals. I'm about to go to Phoenix in a week for that film, and it's going to Nashville after that. Both of these films, we realize, as you don't know these things until after you're done and you kind of step back. They're both tweeners, which is a really hard place to be when you're trying to market, get distribution. So, meaning that like Pig is somewhere between an art film and a genre film, and we didn't really think of it that. We kind of thought of it as more of an art film we were making. We never thought of it as a genre film. We never even thought of it as a sci-fi film, and it's won 10 sci-fi awards. Wow. So it certainly is a sci-fi film, I guess. It just doesn't really play out so much like that. So you want to pick one or the other, and if you look at this box, the distribution company picked sci-fi film, and which is fine. I don't think it certainly doesn't upset people. I think when they do think they're going into a hardcore sci-fi film, I think they're happy with the film. And certainly the reviews and stuff seem to bear that out. But with The House of Jack Built, which is a new film that we have, it's a lot of different films, and it's played very well. Like, we've gotten great reception from audiences. But when we talk about distribution and how we're going to, sell it, it's a whole different story. You have to kind of pick one thing, and it may not be the thing that it's about. And we're doing that right now, trying to figure out what is the thing we're going to pick. Is it going to be an urban crime drama, which it kind of is? Is it going to be a romantic film, which it kind of is? I mean, it's a family drama, like in the sense of like a Godfather kind of a film. It's a lot of things, and it can't be a lot of things. That's like death for marketing. We've been told. So the next film, we don't want to get in that issue. We want to be a straight up genre film. There's going to be people dying, people getting heads cut off. Don't worry,
as opposed to a straight up art film.
Or a straight up art film, but but this one's not. This one's commercial. The first commercial film we've ever attempted to make.
Cool. So. All right. Well, that's what's next. Is there another no budget coming?
Yes. Next No Budget Film School is in Los Angeles, May 3rd and 4th. I do them at Raleigh Theater each time. You can, I don't have a code for this thing, but we can use the FA code. If you use the FA code, you can save 20%. I do this on Eventbrite. I think the address on Eventbrite is eventbrite.nobudgetfilmschool.com, but if you go to nobudgetfilmschool.com, you can click class registration. It'll take you to the Eventbrite page, and then if you type in FA in the promotional code, the prices will all change and
give you a discount.
Yeah, and I think it's like $200 for the 2 days, and that includes free $250 software. So it's screenwriting software. So it's a pretty good deal. I've been doing this for a long time,
and for those of you filmmakers doing the math, you think, well, that's $200 from my no budget film. Well, what you're doing is saving hundreds and thousands of dollars by what you learn in the.
Yeah, I would like to think that that's the case.
It is the case.
That's certainly why I teach the class. So.
All right, brother. I'm not going to let you. He's parking, man. And his parking. He doesn't want to get a ticket.
This is our little guide to the guide to our bonus features. I'm the only one that's ever tried to do that.
Wow,
if you buy it off our website, you can download this whole guide to why we deleted the scenes.
This is the guideline to the deleted scenes and extra content and an understanding of what it is, plus the movie. I made out like a bandit.
Yeah, you did well.
All right,
now listen, man, good luck with the film.
Thank you very much.
And I can't wait to see another Jacques Telemaque film, but certainly another feature.
Yes.
Because it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time since a feature. But I'll make it happen.
Awesome.
And hopefully, yeah. And be sure to tell all the folks to watch the rest of the show.
I will do that. We'll go home and get on my social media and make it happen, man. All right, man.
Right.
Thanks. Take care.
All right. Take care. You too. All right. We're going to sign off for a second until the next guest, and then I'll see you.